4D Bleeding Heart Acrylic Nail Art Tutorial by Hotpinkzebrapolish.
Hi guys, in today's video I'm going to be showing you the first of my two Valentine's Day designs that I have planned for this year. And this one is a bleeding heart, so it's got a bright pink heart and a whole bunch of little holes in it that you don't really see. And then there's a blood-filled pipette underneath it that when you squeeze it, the heart bleeds right out the center of it. I hope you guys like it as much as I do, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!
I'm going to begin with an overlay of a silver glitter mix that's just really pretty. It's all a very fine glitter, but it's got a subtle holographic quality to it. It's not like some that's like overly hollow, but it just, kind of has some movement in the background. So after I have that applied, I'm then going to encase it with a layer of clear acrylic over the top of the whole thing, just to make sure that it is nice and strong. I'm just applying that down like so, going all the way down the nail. And then after that's on, then you're going to want to file the nail into shape with your e-file, starting out with a fairly coarse bit to remove any bulk, and then going over with a finer bit just to smooth out the whole thing. Be very careful when you're filing over a silver acrylic like this, or a glitter acrylic I should say, that you don't file through the layer of clear so it doesn't mess up that glitter underneath. After you're done with that, I'm then going to take a very narrow bit. This is a under the nail cleaner, in case you're wondering. I'm going to drill a hole through the nail that is about the same circumference or the same diameter as your pipette. Then I'm going to take some pink acrylic and I'm going to sculpt a little tiny ring around the end of a straw. So just take, and this is the same color that you want your heart to be, so whatever color you want the heart to be, I would do the same thing for this. And I wouldn't recommend making your heart red because it won't be nearly as dramatic when the blood comes through it. So I would just recommend keeping it kind of more like a light and bright and happy looking color, so that when the blood does go through it, it's more of a shock. And I'm all about shock value. So that would be my idea and why I chose this shimmery pink color. Just go all the way around that end of the straw. It doesn't have to be super thick or anything, just a little bit. And then as that's setting up on a nail form backing, I'm going to create my actual little heart that is going to start bleeding in a moment. So sculpt just a very simple, very flat heart. It doesn't have to be anything too crazy. You do need it to be thick enough that it's not super weak or fragile. So as you're sculpting it, just sculpt the very basic shape of the heart out and then let that set up. And as you're waiting just a second, then after it sets up, you can take your brush and sort of tuck in the sides so that it looks a little bit more crisp and a little less balloon-like. Make sure that it's bigger than your straw, though. That's one little thing to remember, is it has to be bigger than the straws around. Then take something, I'm using just a little floss pick, and I'm going to be creating the holes through the heart. So dip your floss pick or your toothpick or dotting tool, whatever, into some acrylic powder so it doesn't stick to it, and then just poke holes in it. Then you're going to pop the ring off the straw. Mine broke, as you saw, doesn't matter, that's fine. And then glue that little spacer, is what it is, to the nail around the hole that's in the nail. So I glued the straw thing to myself and not to the nail the first time around, which is about par for the course. I'm just glad it didn't completely break. So glue that down, hold it in place. Once that's set up enough, then you're going to want to glue your little heart shape onto the ring, just like so. So glue that over the top. Try not to plug up the holes that you created in your heart. You want to leave those open as much as possible. Then you're going to want to take some clear acrylic and just fill in any of the little gaps around the bottom. So you want to make sure that it's completely sealed between the nail and the ring and between the ring and the heart. Same thing, being very cautious not to fill in any of the little holes through the heart. Those you need to keep open so that once you have the blood underneath it, the blood is forced to go through your heart, which sounds so weird, but that is what you are going for. And at this time, if you feel like your heart is a little bit too delicate, you could use some of that clear acrylic to thicken up the back and make it a bit stronger. Add some little highlight lines with white paint onto your little heart. Apply gel top coat or gel sealer over the entire thing, nail and heart, making sure, same thing, not to plug up those holes. Then I'm going to take some jewelry gel and I'm going to be adhering some pink and red rhinestones all over this nail. I want this thing to be stud encrusted or rhinestone encrusted. So I've got red and pink only. You could do some silver ones as well, but I figured since the background color is so silver sparkly that rhinestones just wouldn't show up if I used them and they were silver. So a couple more spots of that jewelry gel. Any point that you're doing this and you feel like you need to do some flash curing or some curing, go ahead and throw the nail into the lamp for 10-15 seconds, whatever you want, whatever you feel is enough, and those rhinestones will not move. So just go ahead and keep working on this. The jewelry gel I'm using is really, really thick, and I have never had a rhinestone move when I've placed it, so I didn't feel like I needed to worry about flash curing. But it's all, if you know your products, And I say that so often, know your products, but it's true. I mean, if you know what your products are going to do, then you don't have any unpleasant surprises when you're working on something. So get all those placed down, then I'm going to fill my pipette with some fake blood. This is the same stuff you'd buy at a Halloween store. It's not the really expensive stuff because that is a lot thicker. You want actually to use the cheap, really low-end fake blood. Clean off the end of the pipette and then cut it down so it's not quite so long. Make sure it is really nice and clean. There's no blood residue around the outside or the nail glue won't adhere properly. Then glue that pipette into the back of the nail. Hold it in place until it is set up. Shouldn't take too long for that to glue down. And after that's glued, you can do this and you can really freak some people out. After you do squeeze the blood through the nail though, I would recommend washing it off or that fake blood may kind of get stuck in the little zigzag crack of the heart and it won't have nearly the same shock value the second time around. So there you go. That is it. I absolutely love this nail. If you're wondering about where you can get pipettes, I do have them available on my online store, and I will have a link to that in the description box below, so check that out. If you decide to do this nail, I would absolutely love to see it. I think it's hilarious, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!